And I do have a route that someone sent to me a while ago. And we were already talking about riding that route, but of course not on something like this. But this time, what we will do is I'm going to revisit that route, and chances are that'll be the route that we'll take because it avoids major interstates. And this little 400 will probably do much better on some back roads, side roads, secondary roads, and what have you. And so we're going to do it our way. And so I do have some ideas, and that may change over time in terms of how we actually execute um, that cross country trip on this old girl here. But so my question is, number one, if you're watching and you've been cross country, what did you ride across country, and why did you ride what you rode? Um, for the most part, I think people choose what they ride across country for comfort reasons, so that they'll be comfortable and have everything that they need, can carry their gear, luggage, et cetera, et cetera. And on something like this, it's going to be limited. Okay. So my question is, would you still do what you say you love to do, even without your creature comforts? If every touring bike owner or touring bike rider was forced to no longer have a touring bike, but something like this, would you still consider yourself a biker? Would you still ride the way you ride? Or are you only riding the way you ride right now because of the creature comforts? It's just a question, I think a legitimate one. And then there are those riders who ride the way they ride because of the acknowledgement that they get, the accolades, the pats on the back, the "ooh, wow, you rode how far?" And I'm not gonna lie, it always it's just something when you're traveling, especially if you're traveling a long distance, and someone says, "Well, where you coming from?" And you be like, "Oh, I'm coming from so and such a place." They say, "You rode that far?" It's funny, not funny as in like a joke, but it's I don't know, it's just it's interesting, and I really do enjoy their responses when they find out how far you traveled or how far you're traveling. Um, so I think all of us get something out of that to some degree. Okay, all of us so-called ground pounders and yonder getters and long distance riders, for the most part. But my question to you, and I think it's a legitimate question, if this was the only thing you could ride, would you still be the rider that you are right now? Now, this is not a Harley, it's a Kawasaki. So you don't have the rah-rah of the whole Harley Davidson culture. I know this one brother who he wouldn't ride a Harley. And it was his story. The reason why he didn't want to ride a Harley was because of the way it made him feel, in terms of the I'm not going to say the popularity, but the feeling. It's and there is. So for that reason alone, Christian brother, he said Harley was not for him. So anyway, saying that to say, there are some people who do what they do. Let me see something here. They do what they do because of what people are going to say, you know. But take all that stuff away. If nobody, and I know I'm guilty of it, I go live almost every time I'm on my bike, but I have a reason for that. Um, but if no one other than you knew about your ride, would you still ride? We live in a funny day now. So I'm gonna get this baby going, and she's gonna be the machine of choice for a cross country trip, just because she ain't pretty. I might put some kind of windshield on here, uh, but then again, it ain't going fast enough to blow me nowhere anyway. This stuff is caped up on here. I don't think there's no saving this stuff right here. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a little